Hi everybody, I wanted to give you some tips and tricks to make online voice lessons the best they can be. What's important is that your student is able to stand up if possible with their feet firmly planted on the ground about shoulders width apart, and that I can see their upper torso, their chest and shoulders, and their face. If I can see more of their torso, that's fine. All of that helps me make sure they're holding their instrument properly, that they don't have tension, that they're shaping their vowels as they should be, and that they're breathing well and supporting their breath. Students should have ready, prior to their lessons starting, any music they've been assigned. They probably have a binder or a folder. I just pulled out a single sheet of music to share that with you. All of the music they've been assigned that they're currently working on. If they already finished the song years ago, they don't need to bring it back out unless they want to revisit it. They also need to have their full voice workbook series ready to go if they have one of these. Most voice students do have one. They will also need their agenda or a notebook or even just a sheet of paper with a pencil and an eraser. We're going to be writing down assignments. We're going to be working in the workbook together, or I'm going to be assigning it for homework. Really recommend that students have some water on hand that's easy for them to get to, so that if they get thirsty in the middle of their singing or if they have a little tickle in their throat, they can take care of that easily. They also should probably warm up prior to their lesson if possible. Because of the online format, because everyone's internet speeds are different, there is usually a slight delay. That means I cannot sing or play with the student. We have to take turns. And that works really well, but it does take a little bit more time. So if they're already warmed up, that's just one less thing we have to do during their lesson time or spend as much time on. We might still do some warm-ups depending on what song they're working on and what I want them to learn. But it just helps move things along so we can get to the meat. Another thing that would be important is that all students have their backing tracks available to them on a different device than the one they're using for their lesson. I would like for students to have, if they have it on a phone or a tablet or a computer, that they have that music kind of set behind them. Maybe there's a chair or a table they can set it on. That they can play the music either behind them or maybe right next to them. The trouble is if they put that music between the microphone and themselves, I hear the music rather than the students singing, and I need to hear their voice so that I can assist them. That accompaniment track is really there to support the student. I don't necessarily need to hear it. If I hear it, that's fine, but as long as I can hear the student, that's what's really important. Now, if your student does need to be seated for their lesson, it's important that they sit in an upright position away from the back of the chair, up on the edge of the seat with their feet firmly planted on the floor with a nice upright posture. That will be what's best for them for their singing voice. Now, how do I achieve getting all these different camera angles? Well, I happen to have a music stand as a music teacher, and that's been really helpful to me because I can adjust the angle and the height as needed for voice and piano lessons. If you don't have a music stand, you don't need to order one. I mean, if you want to get one, that'd be helpful for your student, whether they're doing an online lesson or not, but you don't have to. Things that people do, they use a laptop, they can set it on the table or on a shelf. You can use a shelf, you can use a high dresser, you can use a countertop, a table, a side table, even a TV tray. You can stack books on top of something to get the right height and angle. You can lean the phone or the tablet against another object. You can put something in front of it if it needs some support. You can use a plate holder or a frame holder to hold your device. You could even mount your device using rubber bands or hair ties to, say, a floor lamp, the pole of the floor lamp, or the banister, or whatever you have in your house. Get creative. Whatever works is what's important for your student. Students can hold their phone, but their arm might get tired after a 30-minute lesson. So I'm trying to make this as easy for the students as possible so that the real learning and the real connections can happen. Okay, once you find a setup that works for you, just stick with it. Unless you want to improvise and keep working on it. I don't want you to spend too much time on this, but I also want to make sure the students get everything they need and deserve. All right, guys, I'll catch you at your next lesson.